After waking up, I realized I had become the cannon fodder male supporting character in a novel, while my wife had turned into the down-and-out female supporting role. She, once the beautiful, kind, and cherished daughter of the Liu family, had been reduced to living on the streets with nothing, all because the author had written her as a naive, foolish, and hopelessly romantic character. Yet even so, she had never once been angry with me. She told me, "Everything is yours. If you want, we can even divorce, as long as you're happy." Groggy from sleep, I caught the aroma of cooking. Sitting up on the sofa, I saw Willow carrying dishes toward the dining table. Though she was dressed in plain gray loungewear, her noble grace and cool detachment still shone through. But when her eyes met mine, a gentle smile bloomed on her face. "George, Grandpa asked me to go to the company, so I can't have breakfast with you," she said. Willow moved to sit beside me and took my hand, her expression apologetic, as if missing breakfast together were a serious matter. I knew I had transmigrated. My role was that of an expendable male supporting character, while Willow was the female supporting role, once the prized daughter of the Liu family. Because I had betrayed her by leaking the Liu family's corporate secrets in pursuit of the female lead, the Liu family went bankrupt. Even though she knew the truth, she never blamed me even once. Instead, she said, "George, as long as you're happy, I'll support whatever you do." I couldn't remember the rest of the plot very clearly. It was something like me acting recklessly in front of the main characters and then getting killed. Meanwhile, determined to help me get revenge, Willow pulled herself together and nearly managed to take down the main characters. In the end, persuaded by the female lead's narrative, she committed suicide. I won't comment on how absurd the plot was. I can only ask, what man wouldn't love such a beautiful and devoted woman? Seeing my silence, Willow's eyes flickered with sorrow, yet she forced a smile. "George, do you still want a divorce?" "It's okay. As long as you're happy, I'm fine with it." She struggled to keep her composure, but her eyes turned red as tears threatened to spill. I could clearly see both hope and fear in them. She wanted us to stay together, yet she was terrified that I might really divorce her. Still silent, she added, "Honey, there's only a few tens of thousands left in our savings. You can take it all, even if it's not much." I reached out, placed my hand on her head, gently stroked her hair and said, "No divorce. We'll face these hard times together." Willow froze. Her eyes widened, and then joy burst through as she could no longer hide her happiness. But soon, worry crept back in. "But, honey, I know you've always had feelings for Anna. In the past, my father bound you with a marriage contract. Now that he's gone, you're free to leave." Anna, of course, that was the female lead's name. What kind of person was she, anyway? In the book, she didn't like me, yet she constantly insisted that Willow divorce me. Her exact words were, "George never loved you to begin with. Why do you cling to him? You know, only the unloved end up as the mistress." By all logic, anyone would think she loved me. Otherwise, why meddle in such matters? Yet when I asked whether she truly loved me, she never gave a clear answer, only said she hadn't made up her mind yet. Absurd. Coming back to the conversation, I smiled at Willow and said, "Ever since we were kids, you've always left me hanging without giving me a clear answer. I love you, but it was only out of habit. And I'm not a dumbass. Can't you see who really loves me?" Willow gasped in surprise. "You never used to talk like that. You never swore." The original male supporting character in the book never swore, and he was a dumbass. But I wasn't him. Brushing that aside, I continued, "In any case, please trust me this time. From now on, I'll treat you well, okay?" "I believe you," she replied. Willow nodded and cautiously threw herself into my arms. When she realized I didn't resist, her smile grew even brighter. In the book, I had never even touched Willow, not even held her hand, just to prove my loyalty to Anna. With a beauty like hers, how could any man possibly resist? Before leaving, Willow reminded me to eat a good lunch and told me not to be stingy with money. She said that even if the Liu family went bankrupt, she would still make sure I lived a good life and never suffered. I was nearly moved to tears. What kind of useless, shameless man would be kept by someone while still harboring feelings for another? But then reality hit. I had to figure out how to make money. Being kept might be comfortable, but I'd rather earn my own keep. Carefully recalling the novel's setting and searching online, I finally confirmed that this world was also Earth, but a parallel version of it. Many things I knew didn't exist here. For example, there was no Michael Jackson or his songs, but there were plenty of pretty boy idols. That made sense, considering the novel was written by a young female author. I then confirmed that people's perception of music was normal here, which meant I could make money. I couldn't read sheet music, but I could sing decently. Recording songs on my phone would be simple enough. But where should I send them? Thinking back, I couldn't recall any mention of record labels in the book. I spent the entire day recording songs. When I checked the time, Willow would be home soon. I went to check the fridge, only to find it completely empty. With no other choice, I went downstairs to buy groceries. The book never mentioned Willow's favorite foods, so I bought what I liked: braised pork, sweet and sour ribs, meat buns, chicken drumsticks. After all, I couldn't live without meat. Just as I finished cooking, the door opened. Peeking out from the kitchen, I saw Willow walk in, utterly exhausted. She looked drained, her mood low, her delicate brows tightly furrowed. Yet the moment she saw me, she smiled, warm and gentle. "You must be hungry." "Dinner's almost ready," I said with a smile. Willow blinked in surprise. "Did you order takeout already?" I shook my head, chuckling. "Takeout? No way. I cooked it myself." "You've got to try my cooking." "You know how to cook?" she asked, eyes wide. Without hesitation, she kicked off her high heels and ran over barefoot. I naturally pulled her into my arms. She looked thrilled, her face filled with pure happiness. Honestly, with a woman like this, the only explanation for the original plot was that the author was an absolute idiot. "Go change your clothes," I said quickly. "Dinner will be ready by the time you're done." Willow glanced toward the kitchen as if trying to confirm whether I was really cooking. Her sneaky little look was adorable. Satisfied, she happily skipped off. I plated the food and set the table. When she still hadn't come out, I went to the bedroom and froze. She was standing in front of the mirror, wearing a black silk nightgown. Very short. Incredibly sexy. And was that whipped cream? I nearly dropped dead in the doorway. Was this something I was even allowed to see? Willow bit her lip, her face turning red as she gathered her courage. "George, do you think it looks good?" When I didn't respond, she grew nervous. "I'm not trying to force you into anything. I just thought you might like it. If you don't, or if you're not ready, I can change." What kind of ridiculous setting was this? A stunning woman reduced to a female simp, all thanks to the author's trash writing. "I like it," I said. "But if you dress like this, there's no way I'll be able to focus on dinner. I'll want to put you on the dining table and eat you instead." Willow blushed even harder, happiness shining in her eyes. She nodded. "Then I'll change. I'll wear it tonight instead." And like an idiot, I blurted out, "Got any black stockings?" Willow gasped, eyes wide. Flustered, she stammered, I don't really like black stockings, but I do have nude-colored ones. Do you like those? If not, I can go buy some right now." "Nude ones work too," I replied with a grin. I felt like a total creep. Any normal woman would be put off, but Willow looked like she'd just received the greatest gift in the world. After she changed into loungewear, we ate together. Feeling awkward, I said, "Willow, I never really paid attention to what you like to eat before. I just cooked what I'm good at, mostly meat. Just try it." She shook her head vigorously. "I love it. As long as you made it, I'll love anything." She lowered her head, hair falling over her face. I stood, walked behind her, slipped the hair tie off my wrist, and gently tied her hair into a ponytail. When I sat back down, her eyes were red, tears spilling as she whispered, "George, you've never treated me this well before. It feels unreal. I'm scared this is just a dream." I wiped her tears. "You're amazing. Beautiful. Great figure. You love me so much. I'd have to be an idiot not to cherish you." After dinner, I told her to shower first while I cleaned up. That alone nearly made her cry again. When I finished, I checked the bedroom. She was already asleep. She hadn't showered. She hadn't changed. She had simply collapsed from exhaustion. I couldn't wake her. I lay beside her, pulled her into my arms, and thought about the record industry. Online searches were useless. The author probably never bothered writing those details. I found Anna's number. She was a musical prodigy in the story. I had no choice. I messaged her, "I need the contact information and address of a record label." Her reply came instantly, "George, hurry up and divorce Willow. Otherwise you'll be stuck with her family's debt." Disgusting. I replied, "I need the phone number and address. Please send it." After a long pause, she sent it. Then started typing again, but I blocked her before she could say anything else. As I put my phone away, I noticed Willow's eyes. Had they just closed? Had she been awake? I didn't dwell on it. I changed my phone password, recorded her fingerprint, then finally slept. The next morning, I woke first. After tucking the blanket around Willow, I couldn't resist stealing a quick kiss. Then I made breakfast. After eating, she asked, "George, do you have plans today?" "I'm going out," I said. "If it goes well, I'll come back with money." She nodded. Before leaving, she left me the car keys and said, "George, you'll always treat me this well, right?" I hugged her and kissed her lips. Soft. Cool. Fragrant. "George," she said, blushing, "you really don't need to worry about money." I nodded. "If you're making money for me, then I'll make money for you too." After tidying up, I changed into a suit, grabbed the car keys, and headed out. Before long, I arrived at the Honor Record Company. I couldn't help smirking. Of course the female lead had a company named after herself. How predictable. At the reception desk, I told the receptionist that I had written an absolute banger of a song and wanted to meet the boss. She didn't believe me at first, so I sang a classic hit from my past life right there on the spot. The receptionist was stunned. She immediately led me straight to the boss's office. But the moment I stepped inside, I froze. Willow was sitting on the couch. Across from her sat another woman in a simple white dress, looking delicate and fragile like a little flower. It was Anna. The instant she saw me, Anna shot Willow a smug, triumphant glance. Willow's expression faltered, her face tinged with sadness. Seeing her like that tugged painfully at my heart. Anna smirked and turned to Willow. "I told you, didn't I? George would come looking for me. Deep down, I matter more to him than you ever will. Just hurry up and divorce him already. He doesn't even love you. He only married you because of an arranged marriage. You're selfish. Disgusting." Willow's eyes reddened as tears welled up. She didn't even have the courage to look at Anna. Like a defeated soldier, she stood up. When she turned toward me, her gaze was filled with hurt and reluctance, and for some reason, there was also a hint of blessing in her eyes. I immediately spoke up. "Willow, don't listen to that dog barking. I'm not here for her. I'm here to pitch a song." Willow froze. This was the first time she had ever heard me insult Anna. Anna's smug expression shattered as she gaped at me in disbelief. "George, what did you just say? Did you just insult me?" I shrugged. "Isn't it obvious?" "What, are you deaf, you dumbass?" Anna looked like she'd been struck by lightning. Seething, she snapped, "You're just making excuses. I know you too well. You're here for me, aren't you? What song could you possibly pitch? Since when can you even write music?" I nodded calmly. "Of course I can." Anna scoffed. "Oh really? Fine. Show me a song, and I'll believe you." I looked at her like she was an idiot. "Do I need your approval? My spouse and I are doing just fine. You must have eaten too much shit to keep pushing us to divorce." Anna's jaw dropped. She was completely speechless. Willow, who was already somewhat used to my swearing, still looked stunned. Then I turned to the actual boss, an old bald man who had been silently watching from behind his desk. "I've written a song that'll set the industry on fire. Want to hear it?" The boss was momentarily stunned, probably thinking I was being far too arrogant. But I had literally transmigrated into a novel with a golden finger. Why shouldn't I be cocky? He finally said he had nothing better to do and nodded, looking interested. I found it strange that he was actually quite handsome despite being bald. It felt oddly out of place. I pulled Willow to sit beside me on the couch, crossed one leg over the other, and said, "No need to play any recordings, I'll sing live." Then I started singing. I began with Hotel California, followed by Yesterday, then Bohemian Rhapsody, and finally Billie Jean. I skipped newer pop songs because the young author had already written those into this world. By the time I finished, my throat was nearly on fire. The boss personally handed me a glass of water. Willow looked at me with eyes overflowing with admiration. Anna, meanwhile, stood frozen, still trying to process what she had just heard. She never expected me to be this good. Of course I was good. I was basically cheating. The boss immediately asked if I was selling all the songs. I nodded. "All of them. But I doubt you can afford them." He scoffed. "You think I can't afford it? My company is worth trillions. You think I don't have the money?" "Yes, trillions." Ridiculous, but that was the novel's setting. To make the female lead more impressive, the author had written this record label as a trillion-dollar company, with the boss practically begging Anna for songs. It conveniently explained why he valued talent so highly. I nodded. 10 million per song. We split future royalties 50-50. "Deal," he said without hesitation. "Oh, and I meant 10 million USD. "So did I," he replied with a chuckle. And just like that, the deal was sealed in seconds. Because that was how the author had written it, real talent met instant money. Anna was furious. She pouted and complained, "Boss Chan, what do you mean? When you bought my songs, you only paid 5 million, and not even in USD. Why does he get so much more?" Boss Chan chuckled awkwardly and said nothing. I, however, showed no mercy. "You call those brainless disposable pop jingles songs?" "You." Anna's eyes filled with tears. She pointed at me, trembling. "George, you never treated me like this before. What's wrong with you? Why are you treating me this way now?" I ignored her and turned to Willow. "Why are you here? Did she ask you to come?" Willow nodded, looking wronged. I continued, "Let me guess, she told you I'd come running to her, that I still couldn't let her go, that you should give up on me." "Yes," Willow admitted. She suddenly clung to my arm and whispered that when she saw me walk in, she thought I was leaving her. I shook my head. "Willow, let's be real. You're better than her in every way. More talented, more beautiful, perfectly curvy. Meanwhile, she's built like a flat-screen TV. You love me unconditionally, while she strung me along for years without ever giving a clear answer. Why would I ever choose her over you? I'd have to be clinically stupid." Willow hesitated. "Really? Am I really better than her?" Normally comparing women like this would be scummy, but I didn't want her to feel insecure. "Yes. You're better in every possible way." I turned to Boss Chan. "If you had to choose between them, who would you pick?" He laughed nervously and wisely stayed silent. Anna trembled. "No. This is impossible. George, you're belittling me to get my attention, aren't you?" I chuckled. "Stop making things up. You don't even like me, yet you keep trying to break up my marriage while lecturing me about true love. What does my love life have to do with you? Are you brain dead?" Anna couldn't say a word. Boss Chan sighed. He said frankly that I was right, that Anna had no feelings for me yet insisted on interfering in my marriage, which was unethical and baffling. Just then, the office door swung open. A man in a meticulously tailored suit walked in. He looked strange. I immediately recognized him, the male lead, Makoto. His face was unnaturally sharp and symmetrical, like it had been carved with a ruler. His eyebrows were barely visible, his lips thin, his jawline razor-sharp, and I could somehow see his abs through his dress shirt. 16-pack. Ridiculous. At least the author had written Willow's beauty normally. Makoto rushed to Anna, full of concern. She cried that I had said Willow was better than her. Makoto looked at Willow, examined her, then nodded. "Anna, everything George said is true. But so what? No matter how talented or beautiful someone else is, I still love you." Anna cried even harder. Makoto walked up to me, pulled out his checkbook, wrote a number, and tossed it onto the table. 100 million. Take it. From now on, never appear in front of Anna again. I picked it up, pocketed it, and smiled. Don't worry. I only love Willow. I won't seek her out. But if we run into her by chance, or if she comes looking for me, that's not on me. Makoto said confidently that Anna would never come looking for me. I turned to Boss Chan and said it was time to sign the contract. I grabbed Willow's hand and walked out without another glance. Boss Chan hurried after us. In the conference room, everything was finalized. By the time we finished, it was already dark, and I was holding a massive fortune. I told Willow she no longer needed to worry about money. She smiled brightly. That night, she wore the black stockings she'd bought. We barely slept. Life afterward felt like a dream. My songs became massive hits. Lu Corporation was revived. I became famous. Then Anna accused me online of stealing her work. Her billions of fans attacked us relentlessly. I fought back. She called me. I cut her off and told her to meet in person. Willow looked at me nervously and asked if I'd ever leave her. I told her not to overthink it. And that was the truth. I shook my head and said, I've already told you, I'll love you for the rest of my life. And if there's a next life, I'll love you then too. I mean, come on. A woman this perfect, even after 100 lifetimes, I'd never get tired of her. The next day, I met Anna at a private club. She had clearly dressed up for the occasion, light makeup giving her a fresh, innocent look. But I couldn't have cared less. The moment she saw me, she eagerly clung to my arm and sat down beside me. George, I've thought it through these past few days, she said passionately. I've realized I've always loved you, not Makoto. I just thought we were too close, so I mistook my feelings for familial love. But ever since you said Willow was better than me, I finally understood. I care about you more than I ever knew. I pulled my arm away. Don't do this. I have self-respect, and I suggest you stop acting so desperate. As far as I know, you're already married to Makoto. But I can divorce him, she replied. I'll do anything for you. As she spoke, she began pulling down her dress, her voice dripping with seduction. George, I love you. I can give myself to you right now. Come on. I immediately jumped up and stepped back. Let's talk about why you slandered me first. Those works were mine. Why did you claim they were yours? She smiled. Because if I hadn't done that, you wouldn't have responded to me. I did it because I love you. It's proof of my love. Was she insane? I was speechless. Then I said, I'll say it again, I only love one woman in this life. My wife, Willow. As for you, Anna, not only do I not love you, I find you repulsive. With that, I turned to leave. Anna broke down screaming, Impossible! You're supposed to love me. Screw you. I cursed under my breath and walked straight out. And just like that, everything was settled. Why? Because I owned the club. I had installed live streaming equipment in the room. From the moment our conversation began, everything had been broadcast live. I checked my phone. Her brain-dead fans had already turned against her. That was when I finally felt at ease. Just as I was about to leave, Makoto burst in, holding a knife. For a moment, I thought I was about to die. But he wasn't coming for me. It's none of your business. Get out of my way, he shouted. I'm going to kill that cheating woman. Anyone who betrays me must die. Then he stormed into the room. It didn't take long before the screams started. And the entire murder was live-streamed. Makoto was arrested soon after. With that, life with Willow returned to peace. But one day, I woke up and found her lifeless. A voice echoed in my head, if you give up all your wealth, you can take her back to your world. But she will forget you. What will you choose? I didn't hesitate. I chose to lose everything. Even if I ended up with nothing, I couldn't let the woman I loved die. Even if this was just a story I had somehow entered, even if she had only loved me for less than a year, no matter what, I had to let her live. Then I drifted into unconsciousness again. When I woke up, I was back in my tiny rented apartment. Everything felt both familiar and strange. No Willow. Just spreadsheets glowing on my computer screen. Was it a dream? Checking the time, I realized only a single day had passed. So, it really had been a dream. I shook it off and went back to work, grinding away like a corporate drone. Then a message popped up in the company group chat. "George, come to the office." It was from the CEO. I walked in, confused. I hadn't caused any trouble recently. In fact, I'd even secured a few deals. So why was I being called in? The boss leaned back in his chair, rubbing his beer belly. "George, you've been with the company for 4 years now, right? Lately, you've brought in some solid revenue. So I've decided to send you to our overseas headquarters for training. You should make the most of this opportunity." I was pleasantly surprised and immediately agreed. But when I got home, the emptiness hit me again. No Willow. Maybe a change of scenery would help me forget, but how could I possibly forget a woman like her? Even if she had only existed in a dream. After arriving abroad, I threw myself into work. And I realized something. The dream had changed me. I had become bolder, more driven. Before long, I was promoted to manager. On the very day of my promotion, the CEO wanted to meet me. As I stepped into the office, my breath caught in my throat. There she was. Sitting behind the desk, reviewing documents with focused intensity, Willow. I was really seeing her. So it hadn't been a dream. Or maybe it had been, but fate had somehow led me back to her. I didn't care anymore. No matter the difference in our status, I was going to pursue her. "President," I said, my voice hoarse. She lifted her gaze, glanced at me briefly, then pointed to the chair across from her desk. "George, right? Take a seat first. I have something to take care of." As she spoke, she casually slid a small snack box across the desk toward me. "If you get bored, help yourself." I looked down. Inside were colorful gummy candies, the exact kind Willow used to love. My heart pounded. I had no idea how long she worked before finally putting the documents down. Then she smiled at me. "So you actually managed to close a deal with Andrew. He's the most ruthless gang leader in this city. How did you pull that off?" She was referring to a recent business deal I'd successfully negotiated. The truth was, I'd been reckless. Andrew had said that if I wanted to do business with him, I had to play Russian roulette. So I did. I put the gun to my head and pulled the trigger 3 times. All 3 chambers were empty. Andrew was impressed and agreed to the deal. Later, he told me there had never been a bullet in the gun to begin with. But I hadn't cared. I couldn't forget Willow. I didn't even know if my time with her had been real or just a dream. I had been ready to die. Then I said, "President, let me tell you a story. It's a bit unbelievable, but would you like to hear it?" Willow hesitated for a moment. Then she picked up a gummy candy and popped it into her mouth. "I'm not busy today. Go ahead." So I told her about my dream. I watched as she grew thoughtful. Then I forced a bitter smile. "President, just treat it as a pathetic attempt to flirt with you. Don't take it seriously." She wouldn't believe me. And she definitely wouldn't fall for me. Our worlds were too far apart. But as I reached the door, her voice stopped me. "I'm single right now," she said. "We could give it a try."